What is ego? Many people have talked about it and given their thoughts about it. To name one of the first people that comes to my mind, I would say Eckhart Tolle. I've also mentioned it and defined it during my first audio as this mark of individuality, this principle allowing you to be someone else than him, than her, them, than me. It is attached to an individual consciousness, this fractal of the divine, of the source, of God, of whatever feels comfortable to you. Ego could also be seen as our inner child, as this original state which is pure, innocent, 100% open to what surrounds us. It is loving, accepting, enthusiastic, creative, living only in the here and now. Well, basically living in Eden, this heaven on earth. We all know that a child's innocence is precious. We all know that it has to be protected for as long as possible. We all want those children to grow in a bubble of positiveness and happiness and safety. But the problem is that the people who are nurturing them are no longer in this heavenly state. Any child is a sponge. It absorbs everything. But at some point, this ego starts to identify. And that's the beginning of the highway to hell. Progressively leaving heaven to discover what is linear time, all the rules that are enforced to us to live in the collective, all the limitations, mostly fear-based, basically all the programming into the matrix, into this system we live into, which makes us fit in for the better, but mostly for the worst. What does the process of awakening do? It reveals to us that we are not our thoughts, we are not our emotions, and we are not only this little ego. We are something more absolute. We're consciousness. Once we're reconnected to this, we can become our own loving parents from this higher level. We can offer healing and care to this inner child from all these traumatic experiences, all the limitative beliefs it has been exposed to and molded into. Contrary to what many people say, ego is not our enemy. Ego is not something you have to battle against. It is just a part in us that needs profound nurturing in all aspects in life. Physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, you name it. Our ego can feel like a little brat sometimes, tyrannical even. But all those manifestations are just symptoms of all these traumas and sufferance. Let's embrace them as the red flag they just are, in order to start the healing process. Once our ego is healed significantly enough, it becomes our best ally. Our ego incarnates our will, our unique way to make consciousness glow and grow. A well-balanced ego is the ultimate gift we can offer to the universe, to Source, to God. The best version of ourselves, the one that is able to feel sovereign, at peace, and align as much as possible to the eternal present moment. One last metaphor that could illustrate the ego would be driving. What does it involve? A car, which would be our body, a driver, our ego, co-pilots, our spirits, our soul, the road with its landscape and all the signposts, which would be the representation of our loved ones and all the aspects of our surroundings, the GPS, all this programming and all these limitative beliefs, and the rear view mirror, which show us our traumas. So now, where do we go? How will we drive our car? It is up to us to listen to the wisest voice in ourselves. Trust the real me, the real you, not the programs, and question all the routines and habits we've been keeping for all those years. Do they really, truly serve our best interests? Do we have to follow a pre-existing, externally defined path? Or do we feel confident enough to define our own?